it's a new time for me to record, a new place to record, and a new system I'm using right now. I've been quiet because it was the summer holidays, the kids were off, and watching the Paralympics, watching people who I admire, such as David Smith playing Boccia, and Hannah Cockcroft, the wheelchair racer, and Johnny Peacock, the sprinter, all of whom I have mentioned in my blog recently. And, you know, talking about things like that is important for now because we are still not recognised enough by people for being able to do things. And so, yeah, I have been quiet, and yes, I have been dealing with things for the school and with the family and things like that, but I've also been down, and I have mentioned that before in other podcasts as well as posts on my website, that I'm actually, you know, having a tough time occasionally. Some days I have a really good day, sometimes I have a really bad day, and I'm feeling a little bit more confident at the moment, you know, knowing where things are. I've got a plan ahead for the future because we know what we're doing. Things like that makes it a lot easier to help out with planning for the future, knowing where things are, and being incredibly proud of all the people who have some kind of disability watching the Paralympics. David Smith, who I mentioned earlier, I admire so much. He has got so much go in what he does as a Boccia player, and it's incredible that he's number one in the world, and he has 2 gold medals, one from this one and another from 4 years ago. But he's been amazing at playing, and it's such a difficult game to play. You wouldn't expect it to be hard, but actually it's very tactical. And, you know, it's difficult to show that actually, yeah, we can do things, and we do things. But as I've been saying in my posts recently, you know, there is a lot of a balance between things as well, because you've got to think about how we are balanced equal in the, you know, equal rights system, because everybody has a different thought process, and everyone has a different idea on what we're doing and on how we're doing it, because it makes no sense to try and wash people over, because everybody has their own say on things. You know, I know what I've done and what I've got and how I can manage my own symptoms and things like that, but I can't do other things that maybe perhaps I could perhaps have done. And I wanted to make sure that life for me was easier, so I listened to what my personal body is actually saying to me. Go, oh, do you need time off? Do you need to have a, you know, are you ready enough to actually have this time to be hectic, or are you okay, or, you know, whatever is going on? Because as a person, life gets in the way of everything, as well as being a disabled person. And when there is no balance on equality in any form, it makes it incredibly difficult, because there's so much at stake for everybody, you know, because there are so many different thoughts and opinions on what we should do, how we should be living, and what we want, you know, what is best for us. But it's when people forget that we need to have our voice, our own voices, heard, and that's when it becomes frustrating, because there has been so much that we aren't heard for, and we are campaigning for that to be more heard the last few days, you know, the last few weeks, because there's more stuff coming up that we need to how can I put it, more vocalisation on it because of the way things are, and I'm wanting to make sure that we've made it more healthy, and equal, because yes, as I have said so many times, there's the poem about all of us being the same inside. We all got blood, we all got bones, we all got muscle, we all got skin, but our skins are different colours, and we aren't all, it would be boring if we were the same. And I think that actually we need to be more open and less derisive of other people's opinions, because it's a way round that we can make our lives more equal, because everyone has some kind of negative reaction in life. Some people, it might be just their colour of their skin, might be the religion that they believe in, it might be their sex, and each and every single one of those is completely relevant. And there's also the point that people think that we as disabled people don't have as much mental input as some people do. It doesn't mean we're completely how can I put it, mentally backward, I suppose, in a nasty way. I don't like saying like that, but you've got people who are unfortunately who have now died, but like Stephen Hawking, who had ALS, what the Americans call, and he ended up in a wheelchair, but he was still the professor at Oxford University, and he still wrote books, he still did everything that he wanted to do, despite his body and not allowing him to do it. It does not mean that we can't do things. We need to have those options to show that we can do them, whether we do it in the same way as everyone else or not, because at the moment we are still considered second-class citizens, even this day and age, 2021. It's nearly the end of September, and I have given 3 months off from doing my podcast because of everything, and that makes it not the most brilliant idea at all to be able to say things like that and say, well, actually we're not fighting or anything, we're not hurt. And that's the way around it, is by actually saying exactly what's going on. And it's important that everyone gets to hear what we've done and what we've got to do. And it doesn't mean that it can't be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Why does it have to be that it's every 4 years only? Just like sports, men and women who actually do running, and they have the internationals every year, the Commonwealth Games, things like that. And I'm sure, and I'm pretty certain actually, there is a disabled version of the Commonwealth Games. However, unfortunately, it is not publicised properly here in the UK. The Paralympics are not shown enough over the world. It is as if we are not valid because of the fact that things are, how things are going, because like I said before, we are considered second class citizens, but we can't be classed as that anymore. We need to be heard more, so it's going to be impossible to do any more than that. And I'm wanting to say about all this because it's not going to be on, everyone's lips, but it should be, for talking about things like this right now.